Do you want to learn how to play jazz solos with more intensity and excitement? Well, in today's quick tip, I'm going to show you how to play burning fast jazz solos using double time licks with 16th notes. Using the most common jazz progression, the 2-5-1, I'm going to show you 6 examples of how to play burning fast jazz lines using some really cool techniques. Are you ready to get started? Then let's go! Again, welcome to today's quick tip on double time jazz improv with 16th notes. This is for the intermediate level. A great way to play burning fast jazz solos is to use what's called double time licks. In this context, double time means playing 16th note runs in a swing feel. Now below is an example of a double time improv that's over a 2-5-1 chord progression with a combination of 8th notes and 16th notes in the right hand and chord shells in the left hand. Let's check it out. So as you can see, the right hand starts off by playing this 8th note line and then goes into 16th notes here, then back to 8th notes here, and then the left hand's playing chord shells, which means you're playing the root in the 7th or the root in the 3rd. So again, together it would sound like. Cool, right? Before we get into playing notes over the 2-5-1, we're going to talk about rhythm, which is a very important subject. So the example below you're going to see shows how the 16th notes fit into twice as many notes as 8th notes. And that gives you a lot more options to come up with interesting lines. Now we're going to look at 2 types of 2-5-1s. The short 2-5-1, which has 2 chords per bar, has D minor 7 for 2 beats, G7 for 2 beats, and then C major 7 for 4 beats. And the long 2-5-1, which has 1 chord per bar. So it has D minor 7 for a full bar, G7 for a full bar, C major 7 for a full bar, and then an A7 to turn it back around. The first rhythmic example shows 8th notes and 16th notes over a short 2-5-1, which means there are 2 chords per measure. We're going to start with 8th notes. So for example, you could play an 8th note line like this. And then if you played 16th notes, you're playing twice as many notes in that first measure, so something like this. Now the A7, the reason we have an A7 is because that's called with a secondary dominant, which just means that it's a 5 of D minor. So we're going to do the 2, 5, 1, and then go to the 6, which brings us back to 2. The next rhythmic example shows 8th notes and 16th notes, but this time over a long 2-5-1, which means we have 1 chord per measure. In this case, we have a D minor 7 for a full bar, G7 for a full measure, and then C major 7 for a full bar, A7 for a full bar. And if you were to play 8th notes for this long 2-5, you might play something like this. If you played 16th notes, you have twice as many notes to play in the first 2 bars. So you could play something like this. So it gives you a lot more options, the fact that you can play double time, you can play 16th notes. It gets in a lot more material. If you're enjoying today's quick tip, go ahead and click that like button below. So the big question is, okay, how do we improvise over the 2-5-1s using double time licks? Well, I'm going to show you 6 different licks over both the short and the long 2-5-1s in 3 different levels. We have beginner, intermediate, advanced. I'm going to show you some cool improv techniques as well. So let's get started. All right, level 1, the beginner level, what we're going to do, we're going to start with the short 2-5-1, and in your right hand you're going to be playing 16th notes. In your left hand you're going to be playing chord shells. And for the beginning level, we're going to focus on only diatonic lines. That means only within the C major scale. Let's check it out. All right, so here's what the short 2-5-1 lick sounds like, and then we'll go ahead and break it down. I know it seems complicated because it's fast, but if you really break it down, what I'm doing is I'm targeting chord tones. So on the first beat, I'm playing the root of D minor. If you look at beat 3, I'm playing the root of G7, And on the downbeat of C major, I'm playing the C major 7. I'm playing the major 7th in my right hand. So I'm targeting chord tones. So that's the first thing to keep in mind when you're coming up with your own double time licks, is have different chord tones that you are targeting on the downbeats, and then you can fill in the rest of the notes. So again, let's just try the left hand. Your left hand is just going to be playing the root in 7, the root in 3, root in 7, root 3. All right, that's our left hand. And again, this is a short 2-5-1 because we have 2 chords per measure. Now the right hand is doing a very simple pattern that you hear a lot when you're playing double time licks, and that's this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. Did you hear that? All right, that's what you're going to play for the D minor. Now when we get to the G7, we're starting on the root and we're going down to the 13th, the 7th, down to the 9th, there's the 4th, 13th, 5th, 11th, and then we end on the major 7 of C. And then you just turn it around going back to the A7 to D minor. So the thing to do when you're playing double time licks is not to try to play it really fast at first. Start slower and then gradually increase the tempo. So we're going to start about this tempo: 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Again. 2, 3, 4. And then you can gradually increase the tempo until you get it where we're going to play with the track. All right, we're going to play with the track next. Quarter note equals 75. Let's do it one more time. Nice. If you want more of a challenge, you can increase the tempo to 90 for the quarter note. Let's try it. Time. Woo! The next lick is over a long 2-5-1, and it sounds like this. All right, so let's break this down. Again, we're starting with targeting notes. We're starting with the root here, same pattern. And then we're targeting the third when we get to the G7. And ending on the third of the C major 7. So again, very slowly, it would sound like this. Down to the third. There as well. So we're going to try it at a slow tempo. Again, quarter note equals 75 this time, and then we'll speed it up later. Here we go. Good job. If you like a challenge, again, you can increase the tempo and make the quarter note 90. Woo. If you'd like to get the downloadable sheet music and tracks, click the link button below. Level 2 is for the intermediate level, and for the intermediate level we are going to add enclosures on the 2 chord, which means we enclose a note, we target a note. So if we're going for the D, for example, we go above, below, and then target the note. It's called enclosure. And then we are also going to add altered chord extensions on the 5 chord. Let's check it out. All right, we're going to start with the short 2-5-1, and it sounds like this. All right, so let's break this down. On the 2 chord, we have an enclosure of the root. Again, we go above, below, we target the root. And on the 5 chord, we're targeting the third we go up to the flat 9, and then we're going to target the 5th of the 1 chord. You notice how we go chromatically up to that 5th chord? So slowly it would sound like. Really interesting line, right? We're going to try it slowly now with the track at 75 and then increase it to 90. And if you're up for a challenge, you can try it at 90 and it would sound like this. Nice. Next up is an example over a long 2-5-1, and it would sound like this. All right, let's break this down. We start with enclosure on the 2 chord, and then we have a repeated phrase. And then we target the 3rd. There's the 3rd. And now we have what's called a bebop dominant scale, which sounds like this. And then we end with a flat 13, walking down to the 6th of the C major 7. Really a cool line. So let's take it slowly and play it like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and... Nice. And next up, we're going to try it with the quarter note at 75 with the track, and then bump it up to 90. Yeah. If you're up for the challenge, let's try it at 90. Here we go. For more improv ideas, please check out my quick tip called Play Jazz Licks with Endless Creativity at pianoatjohnny.com. For level 3, the advanced level, we're going to superimpose some chord substitutions on the 5 chord. Let's check it out. For the short 2-5-1, it'll sound like this. All right, so let's break this down. It starts off the same with the enclosure of the root of the D minor. And then what we're doing, we're going to an A flat minor 7 chord to a D flat 7 to C major 7. Now the D flat 7 is what's called a tritone substitution of G7. And then they put in a 2 chord in front of that. So we have A flat minor 7, D flat 7, C major 7. Really cool sound. So let's play this very slowly together. It's a way to sound very modern and a little bit outside, but jazz is all about tension and release, and that's what I love about this particular example. All right, let's try playing with the track now at 75 as the quarter note. Nice. If you want a challenge, let's bump it up to 90. Here we go. The last example is over a long 2-5-1, and it sounds like this. Woo! All right, let's break this down. It looks harder than it is. We start off with that same phrase, enclosing the root. We have the repeated phrase. Now we're targeting the 11th on this A flat minor 7 chord. And then the 9th on the D flat 7 down to the 5th of the C major 7. Let's try this whole thing slowly. 2 and 3 and 4, and. Nice. Let's try it at 75. Yeah. You guys ready to really burn? Let's try this at 90. Woo! One more time, just for the heck of it. Yeah. Awesome, everyone. Thanks again for coming today. I hope you had a great time learning some of these really cool double time 16th note licks. Hope to see you real soon, all right? Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the lesson, please let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to check out pianowithjonny.com. We have over 1,000 step-by-step lessons for all playing levels where you'll learn your favorite songs, styles, and how to improvise at the piano. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.